Hello, everyone, and welcome to MT4 Professional. Today, we're going to be teaching and discussing trading strategies using MT4 Professional. If you have any questions or comments, then on the chat box or the question and answer pane on your Zoom window, please enter your question or comments there. We'll be more than glad to get to them in the order that they are received. I'll probably answer them on air. Otherwise, we'll respond to them in text. I want to make sure everyone knows that MT4 Professional, Resilient Traders is not registered trading advisors, so we're going to give you specific trade advice. But what we can do is teach and train you how to use our unique and absolutely awesome platform to help you to build a trading plan that is both consistently profitable and successful. The tools that we present today will show you exactly how to use them and apply them in the market. Trading with futures, stocks, currencies, cryptocurrency, Forex, there's a large potential for reward and you can make a lot of money, but there's also a large potential for risk and you can lose a lot of money. So make sure you understand the risks involved and that you are willing to accept them in order to trade or invest in any of these markets. Past performance is not indicative of future results, so make sure you get advice from a competent financial advisor before you start trading or investing in any of these markets. Never trade in a live account until you have first proven that you can consistently and profitably trade in a simulated account. That's where the real work begins. So I am Randy Lindsay. I'm your trade coach today and operations director on Resilient Traders. Claudio Cardinale is our product development director, the brains and the guru behind everything technology related. We're here to present to you MT4 Professional and our #1 market scanner. But first, I want to go over today's agenda. We're going to be talking about some trading strategies, how to use the platform and specific strategies to trade in the markets on the MT4 platform. I want to talk a little bit about what MT4 Professional is and what the market scanner is. I'll give you a live demonstration, of course, of our outstanding platform, and I'll make a very special offer toward the end of the presentation. And as usual, throughout today's presentation, there will be detailed questions and answers for you. So first, let's get into the strategies that we're going to be covering. There are many strategies available. The ones I'll be talking about today are the most popular: EMA and price, interaction of exponential moving averages with price and price action. We're going to look at MACD and signal crossings, look at multiple moving average crossovers, and then throw them all together with the EMA and price, MACD and signal, and an relative strength just to boot. Of course, you could always look at stochastics or money flow or any of the other indicators that you have available on your MT4 platform, but they'll take all day. So I've focused on these specific ones because the majority of traders use these indicators today. Yeah, you can see the alligators there. Alligator is there. If we find time, we'll get to the alligator as well. The MT4 Professional Scanner can scan in real time all of these strategies plus many more to alert you when the conditions are met for a viable trade or an opportunity. So what is a market scanner? What is MT4 Professional? Well, if you look at all of the symbols and timeframes available to you on MT4, there's 54 X pairs, 20 CFDs, 9 different timeframes. Putting it all together, that's more than 630 combinations. So do you really think you're able to manually scan all of these markets and setups for trade opportunities? I dare say that you can't, and you're probably missing opportunities. Well, today, if you're trading on different instruments, it's a requirement if you want to be profitable. If you're just focused on a single instrument, you can make money, but a lot of times those markets come and go. You're not always going to be in the market in a trade. So you have to be diversified. Trading uncorrelated instruments is a great way to remove uncertainty and to diversify your portfolio. So a perfect solution is a market scanner. A scanner is something that automatically goes out and looks for opportunities that meet your criteria. Whether you're looking at it or not, it's going to be searching for these opportunities. And it's not going to give you a specific signal, but it's going to alert you and tell you when the conditions are met for a trade that based on your own rules or any indicators that you want to use. That's basically what a scanner is. One simple example is the cross of two moving averages. So let's consider a 15 period and a 30 period simple moving average. A bullish cross, we would consider that to be green. A bearish cross, we would consider that to be red. The bullish cross is when the fast moving averages crosses over the slow. And the bearish would be when the fast moving average crosses under the slow. So if we had a scanner that could look at that cross and tell us if it's bullish or it's bearish based upon that setup, that would be a nice, useful tool. So over on the right, I would look at some instruments that we'd be interested in and two different time frames and basically two columns and several different rows for each symbol. If you look at each one, you can see some are green, some are red, some are yellow. If I could have a scanner that looked at each of these symbols based upon the cross of the moving average and looking at both different time frames, that can tell me a lot of information. And with a simple scan, I can just look through this list real quickly and determine where the potential trade setups are, where these strong trends are, and where I'm looking for a potential trade right now. That's a nice tool, and that's what a scanner should do. It should scan through the instruments looking for criteria that meet your rules and alert you to the fact that the trade is either in or getting ready to go. So why am I using different time frames? Well, if you look at multiple time frames, if you consider multiple time frame technical analysis, then if you have a higher probability of a profitable trade if you trade in the direction of the longer term trend. Here's a real good example right here. The 15-minute just looks like a bunch of noise. The hourly is smoothed out a little bit, but you can see it's got distinct periods of up and down moves. The longer term trend is just a nice smooth uptrend with much longer corrections. And then you can see the longer term trend, even if we were to go up to a daily, would probably be just a single up bar moving in that direction. So you can see if we're trading the faster time frames in the direction of the longer term trend, we will have a higher probability of a profitable trade, and we're going to be lowering our risk because we're going to be trading and holding in the direction of the longer term trend. But if we're trading counter trend, then we're going to be taking our profits really quick because we know it could be short-lived. So if we had a market scanner that could search for these types of setups for us based on our own rules and verified by multiple time frame technical analysis, it would be an extremely valuable tool. So why do we consider MT4 or MT5? Well, there are other platforms out there that have built-in scanners, but a lot of brokers only work with MT4 and MT5, giving you access to some of the best commission rates out there. There are a lot of really good custom indicators that have been developed only on the MT4 or MT5 system, and it's very, very easy to set up EAs or automated trading algorithms that trade your conditions on the platform. So we have a lot of resources available to us on MT4 and MT5. But our problem was there was no scanner available on MT4 or MT5 for that matter. We couldn't find any, and the ones we did come across were either too complex to configure, they were unstable, they were usually just a single tool that really wasn't integrated with the entire system. And most of them weren't compatible with all of the free or available indicators that you have on the platform. So in addition to all the other issues, our solution was just to develop our own. And that's exactly what we did. We created MT4Professional for ourselves for our own daily trading. And now it is the #1 market scanner on MT4 and MT5. It's a tool that allows you to instantly scan the market for setups that match your rules, your way. When you find a good setup, MT4Professional allows you to enhance that with multiple time frame technical analysis, which really is not easy to do on regular MT4 or MT5. So stay tuned because we're going right into a live demonstration right now. So let me pull up, before I get going, want to ask if there's any questions, if there's anything that you want me to see. And I think there might be one or two polls that Claudio has queued up here, ready to go. And if not, then I can just go straight into my demonstration. So go ahead, Claudio, you can launch the poll then. I think he has one ready. All right, so how can the market scanner best benefit you? Are there less risk in missing a trade, less time wasted searching for trade setups, a better chance of finding high probability trades? Yeah, I know there's usually an all the above, but not in this case. Any of the answers are probably good, but depending upon what it is that you're looking for out of a scanner. In just a few seconds, we'll have the results from the poll, and then we'll move on to the next one. All right, so about 20 to 30% less risk in missing trades, less time wasted, or a better chance of finding high probability trades. Clearly, half the class is sitting right on that one right there. So I have to agree with you, but obviously a lot of people just don't like missing trades. They don't like to waste time looking for something when they can just be presented to you. So I like that. All right, do we have other trades, Claudio? Other polls, I mean. We always have trades. There we go. All right, yeah, I've got all of these set up and ready to go, but which of these configurations most interest you? Would it be the EMA and price, MACD and signal crossover? Would it be the alligator? Would it be simple moving average crossover, or other ones that you might be particularly interested in? I don't know. I'm kind of a fan of the EMA and price myself, because price is always going to be a leading indicator, one which gets you, it's not lagging, it's pure price action. And when you have it related to a moving average for directional move, which is a lagging indicator, then it gives really good information. So moving average cross, yep, EMA and price, absolutely. So we'll definitely be going over those. That's the first time we haven't really seen alligators. Claudio let me know, so good deal. So let me go ahead and pull my platform up here. So you can see this is standard MT4 charts. You can see it's kind of noisy, but I've got 4 different time frames, 4 different charts set up with different indicators on them, showing how some people set up their MT4 platforms. Notice that if I set these up, I have to drag each individual window separately. And if I want to change them so that one window is a little bit larger than the other one, I have to physically drag them out. If I make my window smaller, notice how it clips the edges of all of these windows. So I have to physically make my window larger, scroll them down, move them, and then make my window small again. And then you can see it's still kind of clipped. So if I use my window tool, I can tile them like that, but then they're right back to the same size again. And it's just kind of a exercise in frustration. Notice how all the tools are set up to be different time frames, and I can change the time frames by clicking on the buttons ahead. To change the symbol in each of these, I have to physically click on my market watch, drag and drop the symbols onto the charts, for every single chart that I have open. So if you have more than this number of charts on your screen, then that can be very time consuming as well. And then moving up and down, if I hit the F11 key, you can see that if I wanted to get a full screen of charts only, then you can see that I'm going to have to resize everything every time I do that just to get full use of my real estate. So let's run over to MT4Professional and let's take a good look. Oh, before I do that, I want to show you something real quick. Notice that if I wanted to look at a setup here on my 30-minute, when I put my crosshair indicator here to see where a potential breakout is, I have to physically look at the time down on the x-axis to determine where this is located. And then I have to go up to another axis up here, right-click it, and move to that same date and time to see if the alignment is actually there. So it's really difficult to look at multiple time frame analysis from a chart by chart analysis simply by just moving it over to these charts, because there's no way to align the cursors on all of the charts. So let's go over to MT4Professional really quickly and take it for a test drive. First thing you'll see is a blank screen that comes up and asks you for a configuration. A configuration is a set of charts and templates for symbols that allows you to set these up. So let me pull up the EMA and price as our first strategy. What this does is it sets up 3 different charts. One is a large window, an M15 time frame, and I have 2 other small windows, an M30 and an H1. Notice how I'm automatically scrolling across the time of each of these, and notice I'm automatically synced on all 3 time frames, the current location. So when I have a cross right here of the EMA with price on the 15-minute, you can see on the 30-minute that that's just a little bit delayed. And you can see on the hourly, it's not quite ready. You can see that it crosses right about there. So this price closed here and then crossed over right there to give us a indication that this is ready to go right there. So when this price bar closed over on the 15 and the 30, you can see on the 60, it is already pushing through and ready to go. So this gives us a potential entry point with 20 pips of potential profit and a 9, anywhere from 5 to almost 9 pips of risk in the trade if we had entered at that point. So let's see, if that were entered there, then that would be right there actually. So that's more like a 5 pip risk and a 20 pip profit, which is a 4-to-1 reward risk ratio. So that's multiple analysis in a nutshell, showing you that time and price are synchronized on both and all 3 of our charts. Now, if I want to zoom in on this chart only, then simply zooming in on the chart is very simple and easy to do. In the system, you don't lose any capabilities on the setups. And notice that I've got 3 charts. If I hit the F11 key, I'm automatically in full screen mode, and notice how the windows automatically redraw and scale to full screen. And if I hit F11 again, the aspect ratio of all of these windows remain the same. See that? So I can do any stretching or moving around that I want to, and I always will have the maximum amount of real estate available to me on the platform. That is just amazing to me, and I just love it. Now watch this. All I have to do is just click on a single symbol on my symbol list one time, and all of the symbols on all of the charts automatically change right back over again. So you can see that's fully integrated and it's awesome. But the best part is the scanner. If you look at the scanner, you can see I have 3 different time frames corresponding to the 3 different charts. And each one of these are showing me when price is greater than the exponential moving average, it's a 15-period exponential, then I want this cell to be color-coded green. That's my rule. When this is greater than this and close is greater than, then I want it to be bullish. If it's less than, I want it to be bearish. So if we're looking at the pound, you can see that the 30-minute is closed underneath price, it's bearish. The 60-minute is under price, it's bearish, but the 15-minute is overpriced, it's bullish. So you can see bull, bear, bear. And that's the idea behind the strategy. I want to see where the setups are, where the potential for the trade exists, and I want to be ready for it. So let's take a look at the configuration for this. If you click the configuration file that you're doing and the edit button, that allows you to look at both the chart setup, the symbol list setup, and the scanner setup. So let's look at the chart setup real quick. You can see that the chart setup is three separate windows, one large and two small. I can click add chart window if I wanted to have 4 windows. I can click tile chart window to automatically tile them to all fit in. And then all I have to do is just change the time frame and select a template that I'm going to be using, and it'll automatically draw the 4th chart for me. If I want to add more or subtract one, then all I have to do is just subtract the chart, move the file, the chart back up to where I wanted it to be, and there you go. Everything's back the way that you like it. So it's very easy to set up and use. If you have a separate template that you like using that has all of your setups and indicators already on it, then just simply click the plus sign, go to your MT4 templates directory. By default, it should go there, and just click on whatever template that you already have set up and ready to go, and it will automatically load it in and display it for you. Any time frame or any template available to you on MT4 will be available to you here on the charts. On the scanners, the left-hand side allows you to edit the symbol list. So any symbol that you have access to from MT4 from your broker will be listed over here. And by selecting it and clicking the right arrow button, it'll move it onto the list over on the right. This is the current active list. If you want to clear them all, then it automatically will clear them. You can take the symbols that you had selected here and move them over to your list, and it'll automatically add those here. And of course, if you added one you didn't really want, okay, you can just take it off, and then you'll have everything set up just the way that you like it. I'll go ahead and click the cancel key because I don't want to ruin the one that I already had listed. If you click this scanner panel once more, then over on the right-hand side, you can look at the scanner configuration. Now, the scanner is the rules that we set up in order to change the colors on the display. We call these color rules. The color rule name on this particular one is called main CR, or main color rule. And I have it turned on because the little tick mark is here. If I turn it off, you can see that no color rule has been selected. Tick it, and now you've got a main color rule turned on. Notice I have one set up for 3 different time frames. I'll delete the one for the hourly. I have a 30-minute. I decided, I want to go ahead and keep it, so I'll go ahead and add it back on again. So I have an hourly time frame here. I can select any time frame available, and then all I have to do is just turn on the main color rule, and it's automatically ready to go. So let's take a look at what our main color rule is. There's a small little box with the pencil on it that's an edit box. So select that, and you see the actual rules, the logic behind what the rules are. For a bullish condition, and you select a color code based upon what color that you want, I say a green cell would identify a bullish cross. So when price crosses over or is greater than my 15-period exponential moving average, and you can set that up right here. You can edit it to change it if you don't want 15-period, or if you wanted to use more than one moving average, then you can always add a new one. But in this case, I'm just showing you what I've got. So I've got price greater than, I can look for less than, I can look for not equals, greater than or less than or equal to, and so forth, or equal to. So I've got all these conditions. We call that an operator. So we have comparing item A has to be greater than comparing item B. In this case, price is greater than my 15-period EMA. It's bullish. That has to be true to be green. If that is not true, then it looks at this operation. It will not look at this operation if this one is true. If this one's true, it just skips this one because it's an or operator. This one's got to be true, or that one's got to be true. If neither or are true, then it will be the default color. It means that that's not true and that's not true. But this is the opposite condition. It's the bearish cross. Price is less than or moves under my 15-period EMA. Very simple setup and move. Say I wanted to complicate this just a little bit. I wanted to say that price was greater than the 15, and I want to say that, well, maybe one other condition has to be met. So I'm going to say the 15 period has to be greater than, and I'm going to go ahead and add one more indicator here. Let's go ahead and choose another indicator. In this case, it's going to be another moving average. And instead of it being a 15, I want it to be a 50. So I want to see that it's in a long trend. I'm comparing it with a 50-period simple moving average. Okay. So now I have a 50-period simple moving average. I'm comparing if my 15-period is greater than the 50 simple and price is greater than the 15, then I say, then that's considered a bullish cross. And I can do the exact same thing over here. So I'm looking for my 15 to be less than that 50. And notice I only had to enter it one time. Once it's on the list, then it's just simple pull down menu and select whichever condition that you want. Once you have all the conditions met, then all you have to do is just click the OK button. I'll go ahead and remove those since I don't want to change my overall strategy here. Click the OK button, and save it. Once you save it, then it writes it onto your computer and it writes it up to the cloud. All of the tools in MT4Professional are cloud-based, so we always keep a backup in the cloud for you so that when you travel or you move around or you go someplace, it always goes with you. So you don't have to worry about taking it anywhere else because it'll always be with you. When you download MT4 on another computer, then all you have to do is go to the cloud and download your MT4Professional platform, and all of your settings, everything that you've done here will automatically come up. So you won't miss anything. All of your creations, everything will be there, and you don't have to worry about losing anything. Every time you click the save button, always click the load button, because if you made changes, then it'll need to be reloaded. So it goes out to the cloud, reloads the new data, new configurations, and everything is ready to go. Do we have any questions? I'm not seeing any questions coming across. I'm assuming that I'm doing a very good job. And I've got you at the edge of your seat, right? All right, well, let's go ahead and look at another configuration now. So we've got the moving average. Where's the moving average cross? There it is. Here's a simple moving average cross. It's a 5-period, 13-period cross. So let's look at that one really quickly. Karakazi, good afternoon. On my EMA, it says new. Is that your saving or is there a new update? No, it's just my saving of it. I called it new because I made a few updates to it and then I just renamed it new. That's all. All right, so this is a moving average cross. So what I'm looking at here are two moving averages. The first one is a 5-period. The second one is a 13-period. And I'm looking at a 5-13 cross. I'm saying that the 5 crossing over the 13 is bullish and the 5 crossing under the 13 is bearish. So here's the bullish cross, here's a bullish cross, here's a bearish cross. But when it's in line with the longer term trend, then you'll just see that this is simply noise, okay? So you're looking at those things and you're saying, okay, at this point, if I get a bearish cross, my 15-minute, you can see right down here, is bullish. I'm going to ignore it. I'm not even going to worry about it. So that's the idea behind the multiple time frames, is to get that condition. But when you do move back up here into a bullish cross and you are in a bullish condition, then you're free to take that trade and not have to worry about getting chopped apart with all the noise. You can do the same thing with the higher time frames. You can see that the bullish cross on the hourly chart was given right at this point. And then you can see at that point, it is bearish. So you're not going to be looking at trying to take that trade because the longer term 4-hour was already in a downward trade setup. So this is just simply noise looking at the longer term trend. So if you're trading hourly charts, you need to stay in line with the longer term trends, because if you're looking at the differences, then you're looking at, what is that? 126 pip differences, as opposed to the shorter time frames over here that we're looking at, which are simply 16 to 20 pip differences. So that's the idea behind that. So you can do any two, or you can do all four at the same time. MT4Professional doesn't care. The scanner doesn't care, because it's going to scan this cross based upon your rules. So when this cross is bullish, I want the sell to turn green. When it crosses bearish, I want the sell to turn red. That's the rules I have selected. So let's take a look at the conditions set up here. I call it the SMA 513. It's just the name I gave it. So let's look at the rule conditions. I defined a 5-period simple moving average and a 13-period simple moving average. And all I'm doing is checking to see if it's greater than or less than. Very, very simple. If I want to add any other conditions, all you have to do is just add that. So if you want to look at relative strength to determine whether you're in an overbought range for profit taking, or if you're in an oversold range for profit taking on a short move, then by all means add those in. You want to confirm with a MACD cross, or if you want to look at your stochastics in that way, by all means. You can even look at trend and strengths to determine whether you're in a positive or negative slope. So that's a simple moving average cross. MACD crossovers are the same. Let's look at one that actually combines all three of them. So let me load my MACD here, where it's a setup that's looking at 3 different time frames. I've got a 4-hour, a daily, and a weekly setup. All right, so looking at these time frames, I'm looking at my MACD, and I'm also looking at a relative strength to see where that is. So when the MACD histogram crosses under the MACD signal line, all right, at that point right there, that's a bearish cross. I can also see that relative strength is coming from a period of overbought and is trending downward. And I can also see that price has closed underneath my exponential moving average. So that gives me a really great setup to take a short. And if that's the case, then I have a potential 110 pip move on the plate with a potential 33 to 34 pip risk. So that still is a 4 to 5 reward risk ratio, which is excellent in anybody's books. So let's look at the conditions that we use to set this configuration up. So if we edit the rules and we look at the rules for this setup, then I say that a strong signal, which is the name I gave it, you can always give it any name that you want. The conditions for this strong signal, you can change the name right here, are 3 different conditions. One, I'm looking to see that the MACD base indicator, which is the histogram, I want to see if that histogram is less than the same indicator, the MACD, but in this case, I'm looking at this signal line. Now, this is an indicator that has multiple outputs. So you can set it up by putting multiple instances of the same indicator into MT4Professional and then comparing them. I'm looking at the histogram. I want to make sure it's less than the signal line. That's condition 1. Now I see the AND operator. That has to be true, and this has to be true. My price has to be less than my 15-period exponential moving average, and relative strength 2, which is the previous relative strength. You look back in history, that's number 2, is greater than relative strength 1. Well, if you're looking at the relative strength line, relative strength 2 would be the previous one here, and in time, relative strength 1 would be listed right here. So you can see that would be greater than this. It's going down. That's what I want. I want to see a declining relative strength. I want to see the relative strength weakening. A weakening relative strength that closed below the MA and a MACD cross, that is a strong sell setup. If that's not any of these are not true, then I say, or I need to see if the MACD is greater than, the close is greater than, and that the relative strength is rising. Now, how do I get a relative strength that looks back in time? Well, it's just simply edit the indicator and I'll show you. Notice that there is a shift value available on the indicator. If you put the value number 1, then that's looking at the current bar close. That's basically looking at the previous bar that just closed. That's the bar that you're looking at. If you put a 0, it's looking at the current price bar. Well, it hasn't closed yet, and price is constantly changing. So the output is going to be changing constantly. You're not going to get a stable read. You really should be using 1 if you're just looking at the current setup. However, if you put a 2, you're looking at the previous bar. So instead of it looking at the bar that just closed, it's going to look 1 bar previous to that. You can go back 2, 3, 4, 5 if you want to get a longer term trend relationship. So if I'm looking at the shifted value compared to the current value, then if that shifted value is greater than, I know that it's on a downtrend. If it's less than, then I know that it's on an uptrend. And that's the idea behind it. So bearish, bullish, if neither of these are true, then it's going to go yellow, because one or more of any of these conditions can be out, and then it will give me a yellow color which says I don't want any of those trades because they just don't meet my criteria. And if I wanted to add another time frame in there or another rule, then I could always add another rule as well. Not limited in any way. If you want to be notified of these, then all you have to do is set the real-time notifications box right here, and then it will automatically turn on MT4's notification system. It will automatically send notifications through our members area alert system. And if you set up your mobile phone and turn it on, then it will also send you SMS messages whenever any of these conditions are met. Question was, can it be used on MT5? Absolutely. This is MT4Professional, but it's available to use on both MT4 and MT5. So let me show you something that's pretty cool. Let me go back to my EMA and price. Oh, sorry, configuration, because I just wanted to show you something. If you go over to MT4Professional's website, so here's your browser. All you do is just log into your browser. You can be on your mobile device. You can log in on a laptop or on your iPad, any mobile device that you've got. And if you log into MT4Professional's members area, this is the first page that you'll come up to. Of course, we'll always walk you through the onboarding steps of getting going and getting things up and running. If you need any help with documentation, then just visit our Help and Documentation Center right here by clicking on the item number 6 to go to the videos, links to documentation on setting up the scanner and so forth. And you have full access to download the full version of MT4Professional on MT4 or for MT5. Or you can click these buttons here to do download for MT4 or MT5 here. Now, one thing I want to show you is if you click on real-time scanner, then go over to the thing, it'll ask to see what real-time scanners that you have currently running on your desktop. So, but if you click this button, then you can see that I have a desktop version running right now on this account. So I'll select that account, and what it'll do is it'll go out and retrieve a copy of this account. And now this isn't just a copy of it. This is a live updating version of whatever my scanner is displaying right now. And it's constantly being updated. And as a matter of fact, everything on my mobile device now is controlling my desktop. So if I were to click, right now it's on the euro US dollar, if I were to click the pound US dollar symbol, because I can see that there might be a potential setup here, notice that it changed the symbol to the pound US dollar. And let me pull that back up. I clicked on it. And it gave me a snapshot. It gave me a picture of my desktop so that I can see what the setup really is all about. So I've got two bulls and a bear, and a long time you can see that looks like it's setting up for a really nice reversal setup. So the idea behind this is that you don't have to be tied down to your desktop. If you want to go to lunch or you want to go to dinner, but you still want to keep track of your trade or the setups so you don't miss anything, then you take MT4Professional with you using the mobile desktop scanner on the platform. All right. And so I just did that. So pull it back up. Isn't that nice? You cannot download MT4Professional onto your mobile device. It won't run. It has to run on a PC. But it will. You can access it directly from the your mobile device using the members area under the real-time scanner selection. It will run. So if you have one account on your PC at home, you can have another one on your laptop, but they one can be a live account and the other one can be a demo account. So your subscription allows you a live and a demo account setup. If you want to run your live account on both your laptop and your desktop, then you'll have to go over to the licenses area and you'll have to remove the license off of your desktop in order for you to load it on your laptop. It's very simple. All you have to do is just click the remove license. And then when you log in on the other device, it'll automatically connect to that device. And then if you want to switch back, then all you have to do is just remove the device again and it'll automatically reload it back on again. And if you do take snapshots, there's a really nice feature, a little snapshot button here to very quickly take snapshots of your screens and save them to the cloud. And it also gives you a really quick way of sharing them socially. So if you have, you can make them private or you can make them public by clicking on these things and sharing them. So you can see that here's a public one that you can set up and that you can get the link. You can have any comments available and you can share it socially with simple one-click commands on those things. And you can even categorize these things by putting tags onto any of these setups on layouts and identify them for all of your viewers. Here is the messages board, so you get notified of when setups or scanners come in play. You also have announcements for when new software versions are released. Okay. Also, here is the configurations panel. So this is where you set your settings, where you can go through and change your profile, all of your notifications, your security, your subscription, your payment method if you need to update it, and then any historical invoices to show your past record. all supplied there. So under the subscription, this is where you can cancel your subscription at any time here in the members area. All right, so let me bring back my presentation, because I want to make you a very special offer. For those of you who don't have MT4 Professional right now, then I want to make a very special offer for you. We have the full version of MT4 Professional available for you. That means the full featured MT4 or MT5 version available to you. We give you access to our Skype community room where all the other MT4 Professional users hang out. We give you unlimited configuration storage, emails, push notifications, and you get up to 100 SMS notifications included every month. If you go over the 100 limit, then you can always do more. We just have to charge you for the extras if you go over 100, but 100 is quite a bit. So you have to go over 100 before you need to go and buy any more. You also get all of the 14 of the pre-configured presets that I've been demonstrating and showing you in today's session. All of this has a potential value of $22.95, but you're not going to pay that on a monthly basis. We usually do $194 per month, and today's special, we're going to cut that in half and give it to you for $97 a month. You get 14 days to try it absolutely free, and you can try it right now. So if you click on the link mt4professional.com/trial, then you get full access to the full featured MT4 or MT5 platform. 14 days absolutely free before you're ever charged or billed. If you cancel any time before the 14 days are over, you don't pay a penny. But for your convenience, we will automatically charge your credit card at the end of the 14-day trial. If you love it, then you just keep using it, and you'll lock in this discount for the lifetime of your subscription. If you cancel your subscription at any time, then the remainder of the month will automatically be credited to you. And your subscription will run out at the end of each month. And the price then, if you try to resubscribe, will go right back up to the normal price. So any discount that you have will be locked in for the lifetime of the subscription. And if you do have any questions, you can always contact us at support@mt4professional.com. We'll get a ticket. We'll know that you tried to contact us, and we'll do our very best to get back to you within 24 hours. So let me get my MT4 back up and running again, and I'll keep the trial configuration set up there so you can click on that or type the link in that Claudio provided you. So there's a question, can you set up a scanner so it will signal when all time frames match set criteria? You can set it up so that it does it for each individual time frame, but for all 3 time frames, they'll all 3 trigger at the same time. So if you have the scanner turned on to all 3, then it will trigger, but this one will trigger first, then this one and this one will trigger, then this one, and this one will trigger. So they'll all 3 trigger, but sequentially, because it's time-based. And this one will be the last one to trigger. So it'll be the last one to signal. You're welcome. There are a lot of cases where this would go back down underneath when this one finally starts becoming triggered up. So if you just set it just on this one only, then you're going to miss a potential trade. You'll be getting in as it's already turning and going back down again. So the nice thing about this setup is that it triggers you when they're all ready to go. You're very welcome. I've got a few more minutes left. Is there a configuration that you're interested in that you'd like to see me set up for you to show you how easy and simple setting up a configuration can be? Even if you're using custom indicators, MT4Professional doesn't care. You can load in custom indicators and set them up to be just exactly what you're looking for. And I can show you exactly how to do that as well. No. One tool I want you guys to be aware of is the data window. Anytime you have an indicator that's giving an output, it's usually displayed in the data window. The data window shows you if it's available to MT4Professional or not. Right now, you can see I just have a simple moving average. Actually, it's an exponential moving average. You can see the output of that moving average is listed right here. Now, if I were to pull up another configuration, say the my MACD, remember that one had multiple indicators. If I were to load that one, then notice the output of that. Now you got the simple moving average, but you also have the output of the MACD. So you can see here's the MACD histogram or the base indicator, and the second output is the signal line. So you have two separate outputs of the MACD. The relative strength only has one output. So you can see I refer to those as line numbers. So when you go to edit a configuration, then when you edit one of those indicators on the output, then you can see when you add an indicator or choose it, then when you're looking for the MACD indicator value, then you're looking for the output value, the base indicator or the signal line. So that's the two separate outputs. This would be output line 1, this is output line 2. If you're using a custom indicator, then let me pull that back up again, or to add a custom indicator, then you just pick the code in the computer from your screen, select that indicator, and then use the indicator output value here. Notice there's lines 1 through 8. MT4 allows us to look at the first 8 output values of any indicator. If you have more than 8 output values for your indicator, then you'll probably have to have a custom bridge built just for that. But it can be done. But if you have access to it, then you can just pull it up right here and you can get access to it. So by looking at that moving average, we knew that the first output was the indicator, the second output was the signal line. So the line to use would be number 2 if you are looking at the signal line. So each one of these lines refer to the output that's shown on the data window right here. So here's line 1, line 2, different outputs. How can you show with 4 time frames? What is the HA indicator? I'm not sure what that is. HA? A 4 time frame. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, Heikin-Ashi. All right. All right, so can you show it with a Heikin-Ashi? Okay, so if you got Heikin-Ashi bars, let me see if I can set one up here. Let me see, I don't know if I even have one already set up, but you can. Pull that in. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just drag and drop that on just to show that. See, here's the Heikin-Ashi. I'll drop it onto my 15-minute. The inputs are just simply bullish or bearish candle setups. And looks like I'll have to reconfigure my display to show that, but you can see that the regular bars are kind of displaying or hiding under the Heiken Ashi bars sign. So I'm probably going to have to set that up just a little bit to make it look right. Nope, I'm going to have to just set it up myself. So let me see here. Bar up, bar down. I think I'll have to set that. I forget exactly. It's been a while since I've used Heiken Ashi. There's one more thing I didn't change. I can just switch to bar chart. Oh, is it that simple? I already messed it up. Oh, let me reset it here real quick. All right, now I'll switch back to. And let me drag my Heiken Ashi back on there. All right, it's still not showing my up bars for some reason, but there is a configuration that you can do to show full Heiken Ashi bars. So sorry about that. But anyway, you probably know how to set that up to do that. So you can see from the setup bars that the Heiken Ashi gives you 4 different bar outputs. So looking at the outputs, you can look and compare any of the Heiken Ashi values on any of the time frames just by using these output values. So you've got line 1, line 2, line 3, and line 4 of your Heiken Ashi indicator to give you access to those bars. You still have full access to the regular open, high, low, and close values, but you have full access to the range of the Heiken Ashi bars, including the values for open and close right here. So in your configuration file, you can set that up and use it. I know I've used Heiken Ashi here somewhere before, but I just forget where I set it up at. I probably didn't name it, but sorry about that. That's one I'm just not as familiar with. Sorry about that. But it's a simple access. So if you were to change that, then add your criteria. If you don't have the Heiken Ashi value available to you, then just simply pick the value from your computer and then use your default parameters, and you're looking for indicator lines to use. So line 1 was the low high, line 2 was the high low, line 3 was your open, and line 4 was your close. So that's how you'd refer to these. So by selecting the open, then you can see I have the Heiken Ashi 3, which is the third output value. That's the open. The open has to be greater than, less than, or something or other, one of the other indicators values that you're using. So it's straightforward and easy to use if you set it up that way. Let me see if I I might have one of my templates. Might be a Heiken-Ashi. Oh, there's one right there. So I've got that template. So let me see. I'll save that one and then load it. And then let's see if it'll set it up. There you go. There's the Heiken-Ashi bar with a moving average, relative strength, money flow, and an OSMA. So you can see I just added just a simple a template that was already on the platform to this setup to look at the Heiken-Ashi values. So you can see these Heiken-Ashi values are set up the exact same way. You've got your low, high, low, open, and close values set up. And then these are different types of moving averages available, a 10, a 15, and a 30. You can see my relative strength, money flow, and the OSMA values are all at my disposal. How would it show if all the timeframes are red or green? Then you would use the outputs of your scanner to show the time values. So if all the timeframes, the 15, the 30, the 60, are all red or green, then it would show up across the board like this, like they would either all be red or all be green if that condition is met. Very simple, very easy to use. And on your configuration, all you have to do is on the scanner, just simply add another time frame. So it's going to use the exact same rule on multiple time frames. So if you want to add another time frame, it's just very simple. Here's the hourly, just pull up that rule and boom, it's applied to the hourly chart now. It's scanning for the exact same rules. Say that you have multiple rules that you want to be looking at, then you can set up multiple color rules. So I'll just put in a very quick one here. I can just call this one rule 1, where I'm looking at, that's the same conditions that I'm looking for. The MA20 has to be greater than the MA50. I'm calling this one color rule 2. And then I'll have another rule that's going to be some red color. And then I'll also say that that 20 has to be less than that 50. That's bullish, that's bearish, it's color rule 2. I'll say okay. And then now you can see I've got two separate color rules, but I don't want color rule 2 for my 30. I also don't want it available for my 15, but I do want it available here for my 60. I want that one, but I don't want the main color rule. See, so now you can see I've got a 15, a 30 that doing the regular standard crossover comparisons, but my 60, I'm only checking for just that color rule only because I want to see if the longer term cycle is true. So by clicking OK and saving it, then you can load that right back in again, and it will give you the higher time frame that's only looking to see if you're bullish or bearish. Once you're bullish or bearish based upon your custom colors, then you look at your other two time frames to see whether you're in line with that longer trend or not. So you're not limited in any way on your configuration or what you want to do. So give it a try. Click the link. 14 days, that's 2 whole weeks to evaluate and to use the full software on your MT4 or MT5 platform. You have full contact with us. We'll even help you get it set up and running on your computer. If you have any issues at all, then you can always contact us and we'll help you get it going. And that would be at support@mt4professional.com. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time and attention today. I'll be here in exactly 2 weeks for another presentation and another live demonstration. Take care, and I will see you around. And I'll see you in the chat room as well if you want to join us. Take care and bye for now. You're very welcome.